Alright, hello all, welcome back to the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video here. So I did mean to get around to this sooner, I do apologize. However, last week I did do the defense stack for, Blue, Goku, and Vegeta here, the Saiyans with no limits. And I did say, I did plan to do the attack one. I'm doing it here now. I do want to do Ginyu next, so hopefully I can get around to doing him a bit quicker. That being said, I do think, obviously, disclaimer here at the beginning, right? I did like to sort of hammer that in with the defense one. This is a 2023 character. This more so works as like a, I've done like a couple of like, EZA soon, sort of of these stacking videos. So this more so works as like an EZA soon type of video than it does as like a showcase of the max potential video. Because if you think about it, we are likely closer to this character's EZA than we are to their release date. However, we're not exactly anywhere close. I mean, we're probably still a good year or so, year and some change off from their EZA. If they do EZA in the sort of global celebration slot, we'll have to see how they handle the cooler movie EZAs this year. But essentially, we're just, we're seeing what we can do with them now. It's not going to be anywhere near, the gods, the Super Saiyan 4s, hit anything like that. But, we could still maybe look kind of decent here. We do have, at least for the attack portion, it is, on the 12 key. We can get several 12 keys a turn, whereas with the defense, obviously, you can only get one stack from there. So, I mean, we'll see what happens here. My build that I already, I have a defensive build set up for them. I can't really get rid of any of those equips, and I do think those are pretty decent equips, unless they want to add them, new equips for these guys, once, all the 2023, I mean, I figure they might, but, I want to wait and see instead of getting rid of the equip itself at the moment. But that all being said, I think, this is, I'm pretty sure, like, the same sort of setup we had last time, but, of course, a pretty big difference. We do have our sort of attack items, as well as, I wasn't really worried about like the links last time, and hopefully maybe, we can get some better luck with the stacks as well. We'll have to see. But that all being said, let's jump in here. Get the first couple turns as we do. And then, well, let's... Okay, I don't know where they're gonna be. The Saiyans with no limits. So let me actually just cut here very briefly, because that Tech UI intro is gonna play, and I don't know if we're gonna go through the Tech UI intro just to see them end up being in like slot 7 or something. So we'll be right back. We Saiyans have no limits. Let's charge together at full power. Hoorah! Woo! The anthem of the Dokkan battle player. I still can't. Hey, can I press the damn? Come on, there we go. That was that. I was trying to press the menu button there. It was not letting me. I still can't believe these guys transcended the game the way they did. So with Blue Goku and Vegeta, which obviously we're going to be, staying in for quite a while, they do have the sort of guaranteed additional at 20 key. Now in slot 2 or 3, they do also have an additional as a high chance, so we can actually get 4 attacks with them. So for this one, we are actually going to be running them in slot 2, 3. And hopefully, I mean, we'll have to see, of course, but hopefully that does lead to us having some pretty decent luck here with our super procs, our super chances. I was just keeping them in slot 1 on the the previous sort of the defense stacking, because they don't really, they're more so meant as a sort of attacking character, slot 2-3. So it just made obviously more sense to do it that way. But for the attack one here, I am gonna try and keep them in that sort of slot 2-3 as much as possible, because I mean it's only a high chance to be a super, but I mean it's better than nothing, right? And we can get it can help us get more stacks, right? So maybe the attack could look pretty decent by the end. I don't, once again, I really do want to make it pretty clear. Okay, nice, we failed the chance. I do want to make it pretty clear. Do not expect them to be anywhere in the ballpark of your hit, your god, Goku. Okay, we failed the hidden potential. That's nice. Your gods, your Super Saiyan 4s, none of that. Don't expect any of that. It's not gonna happen. This does more so work as like a pre-EZA, but I mean it's not exactly like a pre-EZA. So I don't, I'm not gonna call it pre-EZA because it's not. We're so far off still at this point that it doesn't. To me at least, it doesn't really make sense to call it that quite yet. But I do think, for what they are, they'll be able to look pretty decent, and maybe it would have been a better idea to get around to them last year. When I started doing these, but on that point, I do think it is also worth noting. I mean, we do have the two 20 leader skills now. We have like EZA Gogeta active. I only got Tech UI on like Saiyan Day, which obviously his support is pretty huge for Realm of Gods superclass. So there's just been so many buffs to add to these recently, and also those first several, which I do need to revisit some of those characters, like Tech Gohan, HL Broly at some point. Those first several characters, I wasn't even using items, so that obviously plays a pretty big part in it as well. So I mean, we'll have to see how everything ends up working out, but I do think when you hold on.
This energy. Could it be Vegeta? Yes! I knew it was you.
Sorry, I did have to cut very briefly there. So, point being though, for any 2023 era characters that I have done, I think they're probably going to look like as one of the best. They should look pretty decent, at least comparatively to the first half of like 2024 characters. Going past that, I wouldn't say too much, but I do think, considering their time, their age, whatever, I do think they could look pretty good here, with all the support and everything. But of course, we will have to see. But yeah, we'll make this the last turn here. Hopefully we can get some better luck here with all of the additionals. All right, the high chance as well as just the hidden potential. Because I don't know, we do really want to get some stacks. It would be very unfortunate if I do have them in slot 2-3 like the whole time, and because I swear, I mean the attack wasn't the focus of the last one, obviously, but I feel like I got like 1 super turns like nonstop. Like I was, well, I mean obviously the guaranteed one, but I was not getting the hidden potentials at all, right? So that was definitely very unfortunate. Hopefully I can at least consistently here get 2, maybe 3 a turn. I mean that'll definitely be pretty helpful the further in we get, obviously. So we'll have to see how that plays out exactly. There we go, we do get our 3 supers there. So oh man, that's only up to 7 mil. But I mean 7 mil for 2023 characters, and we are going to be stacking up quite a bit. So I mean, like I said, I do think for 2023, early 2024 characters, they'll probably look like one of the best. When you start to go into late 2024, then it's like, I don't know. But I do think, obviously.
Mind your own business. Yeah, I get it. I've never faced someone this strong before. I'm excited.
Okay, tag mechanic. Regardless of how powerful they end up being, it should at least, make for an interesting video here. So, I'm gonna cut away. I'm gonna get to stacking, and we will see just how hard, the Saiyans with No Limits, Vegeta Blue, can get. All right. So we are back here. I did actually have to. Right after I ended, I did end up dying. So it took a little bit, longer than I anticipated. Well, not right after I ended. I was up to a good like turn 40 or so, but here we are though. Point being, we do have quite amount of stacks on them. I would say overall we got pretty lucky. I mean, could have gotten better luck, obviously, but I'd say we got pretty good here. So we do have this, blue Vegito here. We do have 6 out of 7 of our links. Now, once we go into Vegito Blue, these two, the Tech and the AGL1, will share 6 out of 7, as well as we'll have Gogeta on the rotation, so, I mean, that'll activate Legendary Power. So we will be able to have a full 7 out of 7, which when you consider some of the links, we have here, I mean, we just switch over to Vegito, right? We do have, like, Fuse Fighter, 5%, Power Bestowed by God, 10%, Over in the Flash, 7%. Like, a lot of these, these, like, sort of blue fusion characters, I do have some very impactful, sort of attack links. So I do think, it's going to look pretty good here. At least once again for like a 2023 first half, maybe going even into like worldwide era, maybe. I don't know. I mean, post 10 Abada, just the amount of power creep in terms of damage has been pretty insane. So for his time, I do think the Saiyans with No Limits Vegeta Blue will look good, but just I do want to temper the expectations. So that being said, let's obviously just get started here. We are going to do the baseline turn as per usual. Next turn we will do a baseline turn for Vegito Blue, and then we will do the big item domain and Gogeta sort of active turn for the last turn. So that should be pretty good. This guy here, he actually is a stacker. I don't think whenever he super EZAs, I'll definitely do one for him then. But his EZA was just so like pathetic. It was, if you were playing at the time, and especially like when he came out, like his EZA, it was so disappointing. There was like 2023. I feel like if you look back at that year, I mean that was. Or was it 2022, actually, that he EZA'd? I think it might have been 2022. Regardless, in 2022, 2023, I feel like they missed quite a lot with EZAs if you just look back at the EZAs throughout those two sort of years. I mean, it was pretty bad. So, hopefully, when his Super EZA comes, we can see a pretty good resurgence. That would be really nice. But we're going to have to wait and see what's in store then, obviously. But, I do think we could see some pretty good stuff. Now, obviously there, we started off, I meant to, I was trying to finish that point. Yeah, we started off there with like the 49 mil. that is nowhere near, you know, current standards. Now, it is worth noting for them, they pretty much only have 250% attack. Phase 1, they don't have any Phase 2. And when we go into Vegito, they do have 250% attack. So the main thing we're going to notice, essentially, is his super attack effects are much better. Well, I mean, they don't stack, but, you know, greatly raised is better than 30%. I suppose 50% is better than 30%, as well as he can get a lot of supers, so we could potentially see him get a lot of power there. As well as, you know, once again, like the links. And once we get the item and everything, the active, like, he should look pretty good, but it's, you know, we do have to, once again, I want to temper expectations, because I know he's not going to be coming out the gate here with no fucking 500 mil. I sincerely doubt it. Like, this is a 2023, 2024 type of stacking character. The terms of stacking characters we've gotten, I mean, if you just look at 2025 in general, I feel like we've gotten like more stackers through both new characters and EZAs, like in this first half of the year, than we've gotten like in full years of every other year. Like, we've just got non-stop stacking characters, which I really like, but you know, it is, they definitely have stepped it up quite a bit since, I mean, clearly they do care about Festival of Battles, which I still need to get my Festival of Battles clear in. I'm trying to get back to that once I finish some of the other stuff. I did, you know, this will probably go up the same day that I did actually, you know, finally get back to work on some of the battle hard and Criminal Foe. I'll probably have 2 Dokkan vids go up on the same day, and finally got, yeah, stage 5 in the works there, so that's pretty good. Now, you know, obviously, we do have the other turn. You know, we did, you know, get a couple more attacks in there, so we'll be a little higher. But more or less, he's going to be hitting like the same sort of numbers. Although, to be fair, actually, he will look less because, you know, we did actually miss out on links, to be fair. So he's actually probably going to look a little worse offensively on his first turn at Vegito here, but, you know, we'll have to see. Although, actually, no, because this Vegito will be a link battery for him, so he'll probably still look a little better, but he's going to be in the same ballpark. Here, let's do the fusion.
It's now or never, Vegeta. 1 hour, but that's it. I am the fusion of Vegeta and Kakarot. Vegeta! And this is Vegito Blue!
Okay, now for Vegito Blue here, it is, I suppose we should probably, we can keep him in slot 2. That'll probably be the best, because we could get, you know, the medium chance, which getting more and more supers over time, maybe he could look pretty good, but I mean, to be fair, the key, you know, it does, how it works, it does put them at the lowest possible chance of getting, or lowest possible key you need for getting the super, so the key modifier, I don't know if we'd be able to overcome what we start off with at the 18 key, but I guess we'll have to see here. But, you know, once again, we were like 49 mil before. Now we do have, you know, now we have like the Patara sort of link. You know, we have like Fuse Fighter. So that is going to, the attack will be up, but it's not, we're probably still going to be in the 50 mils, I have to imagine. Although I guess I'm not 100% confident. Oh, not even. 47.8. Yeah, so, I mean, we don't have Legendary Power here. We have Legendary Power that first turn. Legendary Power does make a pretty big deal, obviously. And it is, you know, worth noting that, well, you know, we did already have that starting turn, right? We had pretty much the same amount of links as we do now. So, you know, starting out here, not the most impressive. 47 mil is what Big Vegito Blue has for us as his baseline. So, that being said, unfortunate as it is, I do think, you know, once we, because the domain, you know, the active, all of that, it really does make such a big difference. And legendary power too, we will have that active. So, you know, the items, obviously, he is going to jump up quite a bit for, you know, the final turn. I imagine will probably, if I had to guess, be somewhere in the 200 to 300 mil is what I'll say range. But you know, we'll have to see exactly. That's kind of annoying. See, I really don't like Tech UI. He can do quite a bit of damage with his counter to Rose. We're gonna put him right here, but I am a bit worried about this, I will say. Okay, well, we do have our domain here now. And the domain here is actually, you know, his domain for, like, Realm of Gods is very, very crazy. So we do have, obviously, the superclass 15%, but Realm of Gods, who are also superclass, you know, get the further 15% attack. So having 30% attack specifically from the domain phase, that's just, domains are their own phase. So that is just a complete 30%, you know, multiplier of what we would have been at originally, which is, you know, obviously pretty good. Now, hopefully, I mean, Rose will take a little bit of damage here. As long as it's not a crit, we should be fine. I do actually have a dupe in mind, so that is, you know, I don't, it can be pretty worrisome, especially if Goku attacks first, but we should be fine here. See, watch, this is 1.7, but oh, well, we didn't crit, so that actually makes quite a big difference then. Okay, if we would have crit, Rose would have lost like half of his health bar. It's crazy. I mean, I've in a couple of these where I've been running Tech UI. I mean, you could just see it. Like he really does just shred through Rose, which is why I have to be, you know, very careful with you know, braining the sort of characters, you know, I use for the Dokkan attacks. That being said, though, you wouldn't think Tech UI would be really good, but base Tech UI, if you're like launching like the 12 key, he's actually one of the better characters I found consistently for getting the Dokkan attack on Rose. Another one I really like to use is that sort of you know, super strength banner unit Piccolo that we have on the team here. So I mean, there are definitely options, but you can't really. This is a 2023 worldwide event. You do have to be careful about the type of characters you have launching the Dokkan attacks. Okay, well, all that here and done. Let's make the magic happen, huh? Let's see. What should I do? Because he turns the AGLs into rainbow. I'm gonna try and do the orb changing item first. I may cut away and, you know, get to playing around with it, see if I can get a better combo. But let's see if we can get lucky here. That's okay. That's a good start. Come on. And it did nothing. Okay. Yeah, here we go. This is the one unfortunate thing is, I mean, it is good that you can re-roll it, but you know, when I do these, obviously I can only do as good as lucky as I can get for the attack. So we'll cut away here. We'll re-roll a couple times. Try and well, we can only get 14 orbs here, so there's got to be a way I can get this better. Maybe I'll put like Gogeta in slot 1 or something. Maybe play around like that. We'll see, but I'll cut away. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. I was actually pretty lucky here. I was able to, this was my first try. Usually I have to be sitting here, 15, some odd, 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? Because it does depend on when you do, like, the certain actions, right? So, like, if you pop an active, that changes it. If you, change where the characters are in the slots, and then, use the item, that changes it. You collect key spheres, that changes it. So the RNG re-rolls from doing every single specific type of action. Like, you do have to, sometimes, or at least I have to sometimes, play around with it for a bit. But I was actually, first try, pretty lucky. I do appreciate that, Dokkan. Thank you very much. Now, obviously, once again, I mean, we have the full 7 out of 7 here. We do have, all of the orbs, right? We have this sort of item. This is the 220 lead, right? He is Rainbow. We do have, I mean, my sort of build is more defensive, but I do have 14 additionals, pretty good. So I mean, I figure this is probably, unless you have like raw attack on him, this is probably about as close as you can get to a sort of current max performance. So I mean, let's see what we got here. I'm pretty curious to see what his exact max is going to be looking like. But like I said, I think it's going to end up probably being somewhere into like 200 to 300, maybe 400 mil range. I don't see it exceeding that though. There's like no way. But I mean, he's definitely. I mean, he's going to be pretty good. I do think it's going to be in that 200 to 300 mil though range, which, I mean, when you consider, modern characters, it's like, oh, what? But, I mean, if you look at, some of the ones when I was starting out, which is, the age, time, whatever, this character, I mean, even sort of when I actually started doing these, I mean, he was already getting close to like a year old. So, okay, wait, what do we, 235 mil, yeah, so, that's roughly, like I said, 300 mil is what I was going to be guessing. If you look at some of the ones that were starting out, or when I was starting to do these, this is probably a pretty good rough range for a lot of those characters. But like, it's just, you do have to keep in mind the time that he is from, right? So he is, for that age of stacking character, right? He doesn't even have phase 2 buffs, right? So Dokkan, it's an ever-changing game. It always gets crazier and crazier, the amount of power creep. But once again, I mean, he's really good, but he's just not, for his time. He's really good. I guess I should specify. But even the domain, the Gogeta active, having all of these buffs, it's still, the items, like, he's still, having only 2 to 3 normal attack raises in a turn, every other turn, obviously, no phase 2, nothing like that, like, it definitely, he's a product of his time, right? But hey, maybe his EZA, with the amount of hype he has behind him, maybe he could end up being one of the best EZAs ever. I'd definitely be very pleased with that. They don't typically, like, the worldwide LRs always get, I think, more or less pretty good EZAs, but it's obviously nowhere near what they give to like the premium anniversary LRs. So, we'll have to wait and see. If I had to guess, his EZA is probably like a year and a month, a month and a half, 2 months, something like that, off. Probably Global Celebration 2026, but we'll have to see. But that'll do it here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.